Welcome, Ayubowan. So today we're going to have a look at speaking. So this is in the IELTS Advanced pillar, and we are going to have a look at speaking part 1. Now in this lesson, we're not just going to look at one topic, but we are going to look at a few topics, alright? So we're going to focus on travel, festivals, shoes, colors, and then a bit about letters and handwriting and patience. So we are not going to talk about everything. Remember, we are only going to talk about part 1 question or other questions, and how or what kind of questions could you get for part 1. All right. So moving on, let's have a look at the first topic. Now the first topic was travel, and let's have a look at a question. Do you like traveling? Right? So when they ask you, do you like traveling? Which tense is it? It's in the present tense, okay? Do you like it at the moment? Do you like traveling at the moment, right? Now when they ask you a question like this, the first thing you have to do is answer it. Okay, so you have to say yes or no. So you can say, yes, I do, or you can say, not really actually, okay. So not really, okay, not a very great answer, but you can say, not really, okay, not really. I'm more of a creature of habit, okay. That means someone who doesn't like to change the routine, okay. So I'm usually not keen to change my daily routine. When I change it up, I often feel anxious and disoriented, okay. That means you don't feel really good, your mind is not very clear. Furthermore, I have a fear on airplanes and get car sick, so traveling just isn't for me, okay? So, what is it about? It's about not a positive attitude, right? Now, here the student's answer is no, I don't like traveling, okay? So, it's in the present tense. I am. Now you can see when we are speaking, another feature is you can use contractions, okay? So first, give an answer, you can say yes, of course. Or you can say, no, not really, okay? I'm more of a creature of habit. Can you see this nice phrase? Creature of habit. That means someone who doesn't like to change the habit. Now, these kind of phrases, if you're using it naturally in your speaking, it is good. It shows the examiner that you can use phrases naturally in the language when you speak. Okay? So, I'm usually not keen to change my daily routine. So, you're giving a reason as to why you don't like traveling. So reason number 1 is you don't like to change your routine, okay? Furthermore, so the second reason is I really don't like traveling in planes and in the car because I have a fear for airplanes and I get car sick. That means when you go in the car, you want to throw up if you go for a long distance. So traveling just isn't for me. So that's not my cup of tea. Okay? That isn't my cup of tea means you don't really like it. It just doesn't belong and you don't feel like you really want to do it. Okay? Now the words here, the student is explaining more. Now I missed on a sentence and it's this one here. Okay? So the student doesn't want to travel, so he or she is explaining more about that feeling. So when he or she moves out of the usual habit, I feel anxious and disoriented. Nice words to explain how you feel. So I don't feel really comfortable, right? I'm not in my clear mind. I feel really uncomfortable. So therefore, I don't want to do it. Okay? Now, what if it was the opposite answer? What if you want to say, no, I really like to travel, right? So you can say, yes, of course, I love traveling, okay? Sightseeing and experiencing new types of food and culture. Culture is totally my type of thing. You could give an answer like this, a positive one. You can say, yes, of course, I love traveling. Sightseeing and experiencing new types of food and culture is totally my type of thing. That means I really like it. And that's kind of my passion. Okay, totally my type of thing. That means it's totally something that you really want to do and you really enjoy doing it. All right? So, when you're giving answers for part 1, remember, don't go on and on and on talking about it, okay? Most of the questions require you to give a yes or a no, or you can say partially, sometimes maybe you could give answers like that and then give 1 or 2 reasons as to why you are giving that answer. So you could say, no, really, because, I'm a creature of habit. I don't like changes. And the other thing is, I fear airplanes and, right? So I have a fear for airplanes. I'm just going to put the F there. I missed out on it. Sorry, guys. So I have a fear for airplanes. And the other reason is I get car sick. Okay. So here is a different answer. And you say, yes, I really love traveling. Because why? Because I like to go sightseeing. I like to experience a new type of food and, the culture. That's totally my thing. So that's something I really enjoy. All right? Okay, so let's have a look at another question. Do you often travel by air? Now, often, remember, is a frequency adverb, right? Do you always travel by air? Do you rarely travel by air? Do you often travel by air? Okay. So, student says, no, not at all. I try to avoid it at all costs. That means you would really not take the airplane, right? If I must travel, I will take some motion sickness, right? That means getting sick from any kind of transportation medicine. So you get some motion sickness medicine and go by car or train. I was once on an airplane on my honeymoon that came very near to crashing. So my phobia. What do you mean by phobia? Strong fear. A nice word. Phobia. Okay? Phobia. Strong fear. Stems from. What do you mean stem? Right? A stem is a part where the flower grows. Like, this bit here. So, let me just draw it up. I'm sure you know stem by now, right? Okay, so this bit here, if you have it in the pot, and then you have this bit, and then of course you have the flower, okay? So this here is the stem. So where it starts, okay? Stem is the part where the flower grows. So that's where it stems from, okay? So initially what happened to her, she went on her honeymoon and the plane was about to crash. So that fear has got into her, him or her, okay? The student. So I'll be using her, but it could be either person, right? So that is the biggest fear, and that's where it started. Okay, so stems from this means that's where it started from. Right? Now, the answer is a negative answer. Okay? No, not at all. 100% you don't want to travel, you never travel by airplane, right? So the student says, I try to avoid it at all costs. That means I never ever want to go, and I try to avoid it as much as possible. Okay? If I have to travel, I'll take some motion sickness medicine. So things that will help you to stay calm and not throw up in the car or anywhere, right? And then you can travel by car or train, right? So she explains as to why she doesn't want to travel, or he or she does not travel. The reason is, once when she was on an airplane on her honeymoon, what happened? It was about to crash. And that fear, that phobia has really caused her a great fear. So it stems from this incident, so she doesn't want to travel. Now, what if you like to travel by plane? The opposite of it, right? Now, student is answering negative because he or she doesn't like traveling. Now, what if you really want to travel? You would say, well, do you often travel by air? Yes, I do. Since I love traveling, I always take the airplane. I like to visit different destinations, and this experience is great. You would talk about how you feel traveling by air. Okay, so actually when you're up in the air, you can see everything down below, right? Not always. Until it goes up to a certain altitude, you could see things, right? And then that feeling of landing and taking off, some people really like that experience. Okay, some people don't. It can be really uncomfortable. So depending on your experience, you could have a positive answer or you could have a negative answer. Right? Now what you need to remember is, I've put up the answers because it's needed to explain. But actually at a speaking test, would you be writing answers? No. The examiner is going to ask you questions and you will answer them then and there. Okay? But the point for me to put up the answers is that you get some vocabulary and you can see some answer patterns, so you learn out of it. But remember, at the exam, no support like this. The examiner is going to ask you the question and then you can answer it on your own. Okay? Right. So, let's have a look at the next question. How long was the longest trip you took? Okay. So, longest means it's superlative. That is the longest trip that you took. Thattima velaවක් ගිය trip එක. In other words, right? I once had to go on a business trip. Let me just put the there. I once had to go on a business trip to the Philippines. It was a 24-hour flight. Oh my gosh. It was a nightmare. Nightmare means it was a terrible experience. On top of this, I was seated next to a child who was relentlessly means non-stop, crying during the entire journey. Okay, so this can become a problem when you're traveling. Some kids don't like it. They have that fear and they feel uncomfortable. I'm not sure what the reason is, but even when I've traveled, I've realized that some babies are not so comfortable and they keep on crying. Okay, and when it's a long flight, 24 hours, and when someone's crying right next to you, could be sometimes very tiring. Okay, for some people they're used to it. Okay, for me I would just be used to it, but for some people it could be uncomfortable. So now what happened? The student once had to go on a business trip to Philippines. I mean, for us to travel to Philippines wouldn't take so long, but maybe from where they were, it was taking a long time. Like for us to probably go to the US would take about 24 hours and even longer sometimes, okay? So it's probably really wrong, okay? And it was a 24-hour flight. That's like one day, okay? It was a nightmare, okay? Nightmare means it was a horrible, bad experience. We saw this, okay? When you say nightmare when it's something really terrible, okay? On top of this, I was seated next to a child who was relentlessly, that means endlessly, non-stop crying, which was really another terrible experience for the student. Now, for me, if I was to say about my longest trip, the longest trip that I traveled it was like my usual travel to the UK, right? And it took about 18 hours. Usually, it's about a 12-hour flight, but what happened was I had a stopover in Dubai and then we had to go. So it was like an interconnecting flight. So it was about 18 hours. And on top of this, it was, you want to say it's a bad thing, you can say on top of this and add things to it if it was a bad experience. But my one, I want to change it. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about something which was a really good experience. So I would say, well, I once went to the UK and it was about an 18-hour flight. It was a really nice experience because I had a stopover at Dubai. And then from Dubai, I had the next flight to the UK. Well, when I stopped in Dubai, you have the place where you could go shopping, and it was amazing because I could buy some good perfume as well as some nice chocolates, okay? So you can add things to your experience. If it was good, talk about the positive experiences you've had, okay? Or if it is bad, you can talk about the bad experiences, okay? So don't talk too much about it and give lots of information. Just like I told you, 1 or 2 points to add how you felt about this longest trip. All right? Okay. Now moving on into the next question. Which country would you like to travel in the future? Now comes a different tense. Have you traveled before there? No. Are you there at the moment? No. But have you planned to go there in the future? Yes. Okay. So you have planned to go somewhere else and you would like to go or you would like to visit that country in the future. So it's like a dream. Okay. I'm dying. What do you mean by dying? You really, really want to. I'm dying to have that means not that you're killing yourself, right? But you really want to go there, right? I'm dying to go to Egypt. I would like to do the same, right? I've always dreamt of going there since I was a child. Actually, I'm really fascinated by their ancient culture. Okay, so I don't think I've always dreamt of going there since I was a child, actually. You could actually merge it with this. I've always dreamt of going there since I was a child. Actually, I'm really fascinated by their ancient culture. I would be in awe of the Grand Pyramids. Awe means you get like a mixed feeling, like of fear and wonder, right? You're kind of amazed by the Grand Pyramids, I'm sure. Unfortunately, since I despise, that means since I hate, you don't really like it, okay, I don't think I'll ever get there. So what's the sad part? The student really wants to go to Egypt, but can you go by car or by train? Not really, okay? So you have to travel, and how can you travel? That's by air. So the student doesn't like traveling, so there is what? A doubt, and it's highly unlikely that he or she will get to Egypt. But our whole objective here is to talk about which country would you like to travel, okay? So you have to explain the reasons why you would like to travel to that country, okay? So for me, I would say, well, I would really like to travel to the US, okay? I've always dreamt of going there since I was a child because I really want to see the Disneyland, okay? And I love the states because they have different states and it all has a different experience, right? So Las Vegas is where you have a different experience. You can go and see casinos, you can play casino, and you have a different experience. Then, of course, you can go to the beach side, Miami, where you have the beach, okay? So in one country, you have lots of different experiences, and that's why I really want to go there, okay? But unfortunately, I don't have the money, so I'm not sure if I could really go there, okay? You could say that. You could share your experience, okay, of a country that you would really like to visit in the future. So, nice words that you could pick up here is I'm dying to, or other phrase I'm dying to. Remember, when you're speaking, don't say I am, I do not think I will ever get there. Always use the contracted form. Now, when I was writing, I was telling you, if academic students don't do that, if you were doing general, if you were doing part 1, I told you, informal, you could write contractions. But here in speaking, irrespective of if you are doing academic or general, all students can use contractions. Which is the best? So you can see lots of contractions being used in the answer. All right, the next one. Would you like to travel to space? Good question. Maybe, perhaps, of course. No, not really. Okay. I'm not sure how it feels to be in a rocket. I think it would be incredible to see a completely foreign galaxy. Okay, foreign galaxy means a completely new world. Okay. I'm curious if other life forms, other life forms means aliens, exist. So I would definitely go along on this journey to find out for myself. I also wonder if the moon is made out of cheese. Okay, so the student is ironically using some phrases, which is nice. That's what you should be doing at your speaking test. Okay, so student is not really sure. He says perhaps, that is maybe I'll really go to space, and I'm not really sure how it feels because I've not done a trip before. So I don't know how that feeling would be if you were to travel in a rocket, okay? Because you can't go by a flight to space, you have to go by a rocket, okay? And he or she thinks it's an incredible, what do you mean by incredible? Amazing, incredible, okay? To see a completely foreign galaxy. So it would just be amazing, right? It would be out of this world to see something like that. And I'm curious. Curious means you really want to know, right? If aliens actually exist. That means if there is life outside Earth. So definitely, I would definitely go along this journey. So very positive answer. Yes, I would like to travel, right? So starting with perhaps and building up onto an answer saying, yes, definitely I would go along this trip to find out for myself, what do we have aliens, right? I also wonder if the moon is made out of cheese, okay? So some people say, oh, the moon is made out of cheese, right? So he or she also has heard it as a kid. It's not for real. When we are small, our parents tell us, oh, the moon is made out of cheese, right? So he or she ironically says, okay, so I really want to see these stories that I was told as a kid. Are they really true? Okay, Really nice answer, and things that you could pick up from these answers would be the vocabulary and that natural flow of speaking. Okay? You can't pick up the flow, but I'm just, bringing it out in terms of writing and trying to put it across so that you would understand how some students would use language in their speaking test. Okay? Now comes our second topic. It's all about festivals. What is your favorite festival? Now, I don't want to talk about festivals because we've done it for vocabulary in, I think, beginner. We've done it a bit in intermediate, and also a bit in advanced. But, you've learned about festivals a lot. So, what is your favorite festival? Now, in Sri Lanka, we have different types of festivals. So, we have the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. We have Vesak. We have Thai Pongal, we have Deepavali, right? We have Christmas, we have the Hajj festival. So you could talk about any, if it's not those, any other festival that you really like, okay? That's a tough question because I'm definitely a holiday person. What do you mean by a holiday person? A person who likes holidays. But I would have to say New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve is something that he or she likes the most. I'm always keen for change and new bringings, so I love setting new goals at the start of each new year. Not to mention, I really enjoy the parties. Second to this would be Valentine's Day, since I'm a hopeless romantic person. Okay? So let's add it here where you say hopeless romantic person. So let me just add that word there. Okay. Now, the student likes New Year's Eve. Why? Because just before New Year, 31st night, we say 31st night, for them is New Year's Eve. Okay. Because that's when you can start setting your new goals for the new year, and obviously you have lots of parties, 31st night parties, 31st night dinner dance, right? And second to this would be Valentine's Day, okay? Because everyone wants to be loved and they would love to get a bunch of roses and a nice gift, okay? So the student here likes two festivals. The most favorite one is the New Year's Eve, and then of course Valentine's Day. If you were to answer this, let's say in a Sri Lankan context, I would say, well, my favorite festival is the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. This is mainly because I get to eat lots of types of sweet meat, or rather the Sri Lankan traditional sweets, like we get the asmi, the kaung, kokis, astirasa, and I love eating these, right? And especially my mum makes the milk rice and she makes the lunuminis, which is amazing, and I really like to taste it. So this is the best festival, or the most favorite festival that I like to celebrate. Secondly, or apart from this, it's also the time to give people things. So I could give families food, new clothes, and help them, and we could share this nice festive season. So I really like to celebrate the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. Okay. Some of you could say we really like to celebrate Christmas because it marks the birth of Lord Christ, and everything is Christmassy around this time. You get snow and the streets are decorated, the shops are decorated. We always hear the favorite song, Jingle Bells around. People are happy, and I really like to see their festive season. Okay, so you could talk about different festivals according to what you really want and what you really like. Okay. Right, so nice words the student has used in this one would be, I'm definitely a holiday person, Nice word, holiday person means I really enjoy the holidays. I think Sri Lanka, we have such a lot of holidays, so definitely we are all holiday people, right? So the other thing is, I'm always keen. Keen means you always want to. Okay, I'm a keen person. Okay, I really want to do things, right? So that is a nice word again. Not to mention, nice phrase again. Not to mention, I really enjoy doing this. Okay, again, nice phrase to pick up on when you're doing your speaking. All right. Okay, the second question under festivals. How do you celebrate the festival? So students sign posts and says, in my culture. Now, what he or she wants to mean is that this could be celebrated in different countries in different ways. But in my culture, this is how we do it. So, nice way to signpost. In my culture, it's more family oriented, okay? So, it's a more family oriented holiday. We usually have a special family dinner at home, followed by the countdown to midnight. However, in my culture, we add something special to it. As the clock ticks down to midnight, we eat 12 grapes, which signify a different wish for each month. After this, we go out to the city or town streets to drink with our friends and wish them a happy new year. Something very different, I would say. Do we do that? Not really, okay? But some families have their own traditions and different countries have different cultural practices. So what do they do? Well, it's more like a family-oriented, time where you spend time with your family. So what do? They have a special family dinner. I think we also usually have this at my place. We usually have a family dinner 31st night. It's more family type, right? And we don't follow a countdown, but you can see lots of places. I've been to one of the 5-star hotels in Sri Lanka for a 31st night, and they do it. They go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you have the fireworks, okay? So you have that real nice experience, but that was outside, okay? So they do it at home. And however, after this clock ticks down to midnight, what do? They eat 12 grapes. So for each grape, for each month, there are 12 months in the year, right? So they make a different wish for each month. That's a nice way, okay? We don't do that. I mean, I don't do it at my place. I don't know if you guys do it. I don't, okay? So what we do is we have a nice family dinner with different types of food and, our favorite dishes. And then, of course, yes, we don't go down to the streets, but I know in the UK we all go out 31st night to London Bridge so that we can see the fireworks, okay? And then everyone greets each other around saying Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. And we come back home probably around 5 or 6 in the morning, okay? So it's a bit different. Here in Sri Lanka, we rather have a family dinner, and at the end, after it's 12 o'clock, we greet each other and we say, oh, Happy New Year, we wish them, right? And then, of course, maybe we have like a padru party, right? So where we have songs, okay? We sing our baila songs and we have some good time, okay? Cultures differ and how they celebrate different festivals can differ. Now, if you want to talk about the Sinhala and Tamil New Year, well, that again is a different experience, right? So you start preparing for it maybe a few weeks in advance. You have our parents preparing the oil meats or, the sweet meats. And the children get ready. They start playing these different games, right? They have Olinda and then they have Onshilla, Vapadinama, right? So you have the swing and you have lots of other New Year games, right? Which a lot of Sri Lankans do. And then, of course, on the day, we have a countdown for sure, right? So for each auspicious time, we have different practices that we do, right? So we stop cooking at a certain auspicious time. Then we have the lighting of the cooker, okay, kiribat uyanekata. So you have that special auspicious time. Then you have another auspicious time to eat. So all of this is done with a countdown, and we of course keep the TV on and we say 10, 9, 8, 7, it goes on, right? So we celebrate that time with our family. Okay, so unfortunately my husband never is at home on that day because he's out every new year since I've married him. Okay, but what I do is I get together with the kids and my mom and my dad, okay, and we always celebrate this special day. Okay, so you could talk about it as well, and I would really like you to start practicing talking about these topics. Now you have to be passionate about I don't know what this is. If you be like that, you'll not be able to come up with good words, okay? I always tell you, be passionate about each and every topic that you get for your exam. And when you're doing practice sessions, it's important to go out and see, okay, what are the other phrases I could use? Now, if I was to talk about Sinhala and Tamil New Year, what are the words that I could use? Personally, I wouldn't select that because it's very difficult to talk about some of the Sinhalese vocab that we have, and there's no specific English word for it. So I would talk about something like New Year, or I would talk about something like Christmas, which is much more easier. So remember, when you're doing the exam, be a bit cunning. You have to answer, but it might not necessarily be the honest answer, but you should be able to find answers where you have lots of vocab and phrases to explain it. All right? Next one. What is the most popular festival in your country? Now again here, for me, I feel it's like the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. It's Vesak, it's Christmas, Deepavali or Hajj, depending on the ethnic group, right? But for me, I feel around the world, the most popular festival is Christmas, and even in Sri Lanka. Okay, irrespective of your religion, you really like Christmas. Okay, you just go around with the Christmas songs and the jingles, and people love to put up a Christmas tree, irrespective of the religion. Okay, including myself, ever since I was a kid. We've always put up a Christmas tree, and I still follow the same practice. Okay, so I decorate the house, and we bring in, the Christmassy type of food like the Christmas cake and stuff. Okay, and I really kind of enjoy celebrating it. Okay, and I believe that you should give that festive season and the reason behind it to your kids as well. So I strongly love to do it, and I strongly recommend it because it's nice. Kids feel good, right? And obviously during that time you can help a lot of people in need. Okay, so definitely Christmas, since I'm from a Catholic country. Okay, so for us it would be probably different because we are from a Buddhist country. Nearly every town and city goes out of the way to deck means to decorate. Okay, nice word, a new one for you, to deck the streets out with Christmas lights and decorations. However, unlike other countries, we celebrate the Epiphany. Epiphany is like a sudden realization, okay? Or Day of Three Wise Men on January 6th, just as much at the 25th, okay? So there are two really important or popular festivals, Christmas and where they celebrate this special thing about the three wise men, right? This is the day in which we exchange gifts and watch parades. So they have 2 days. One is 25th of December and the 6th of January. So two important festivals there. Okay. For us, I think it's more Christmas or more Vesak or the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. Okay. Those are the most popular festivals in Sri Lanka. I'm not putting any other religion down, but I mean, they're quite popular. But obviously, the other festivals, any other festival that you like, that you think is very popular, you could talk about it. No problem. Okay? Do you like Western festivals? Well, for me, of course I do, right? They are part of my culture. I especially love Christmas, Easter, and New Year. I think for Sri Lanka as well, that's true. We are a part of that culture, okay? I especially love Christmas, Easter, and New Year's since they have always been part of my upbringing. I think it should be being a part of my upbringing. However, I also find Eastern festivals interesting. I lived in Vietnam for 2 years and I was awe. Awe means you amazed. Awe. It's just awe, like you say orange, awe. Okay? I was awe. You could use it, a nice word. Awe means you were really amazed. Of the Lunar New Year and Mid-Autumn Festival. Okay, so different countries would celebrate different festivals. I think we are quite used to with the Western culture because we were invaded by them and we have been under them for a long time. So we kind of, we enjoy that culture being blended with our culture. But I don't think we are quite open towards the Eastern culture or the Eastern festivals. So he or she has been in Vietnam for 2 years and she was amazed by the Lunar New Year, okay, and Mid-Autumn Festival. So two festivals that are probably celebrated in Vietnam. Okay, so I would say yes, I do like the Western festivals, especially Christmas. Okay, is something that all Sri Lankans really enjoy and they celebrate. And I think even myself, I've been a part of that festival since my childhood years, and I've grown with it because every year we've had Christmas and we put up a Christmas tree and we give people things. So I think it is a real part of our culture as well. Okay, so you could talk about it as well, right? Or if you say, no, I don't really like Western culture, you could even say that, no problem, okay? Where do people usually go during festivals? Well, in Sri Lanka, most people like to visit their relatives around Sri Lanka, so they usually go visiting them. But here, let's have a look at it. Between homes and the streets, we hold meals in our homes for the holidays. Nice. As we value home-cooked meals, right? So they like to really cook because they love home-cooked meals. However, we are people who enjoy going out, so we often go out to celebrate at bars or even in the streets. For example, the Christmas Eve celebration entails going to a bar with friends until the wee hours. Wee hours means early hours of the morning, followed by a family lunch the next day. Quite Western. This is not how we do things in Sri Lanka. We don't end up at the bar during, Sinhala and Tamil New Year or Deepavali or, days like that. We try to stay away from the bars as much as possible. Okay? Bars doesn't mean bars, polu, right? They mean like a bar means a place. Okay? It's like a cafe where you go to have coffee. Bar is a place where you go to hang out with your friends just to have a drink. Okay, not to drink and fall and go like that. Okay, but bar is where you just go to have like a beer or maybe a glass of wine where you chill out with your friends. Okay, so they hold meals at home because they love home cooked food. But they also are like a happy-go-lucky set of people, right? Especially this culture, wherever they're from, right? So they like to go out and they like to enjoy with their friends. So they go out to the bar, okay? And sometimes we have street festivals. In the UK, like you have lots of street festivals, like you have the Nottingham Festival, right? They're all celebrated on the street. So you go out, the different types of dances are there, the different types of food, okay? And it is really great. I don't see that kind of festival in Sri Lanka. I see the Perahera, but they're not really like a festival, okay, where you have, different cultures coming out. Not really, I don't know, I really haven't seen it, but in the UK, definitely you've got these type of festivals going out on street, and you really have a good time, okay? So this entails means at the end, so Christmas Eve is there, and then it's followed by, entail means followed by. Going to a bar with friends until wee hours, that means early hours, and then you come home and then you have a lunch the next day with your family. Okay, this is quite like the Western countries or the European countries that have this kind of culture. Okay, right. Aha, the next topic, shoes. Okay, not shoes, it's shoes. Shoes. Okay, do you like shoes? Well, yes, of course, right? I do love shoes, and I love to have different colors and different pairs of shoes when I go out for work, right? I'm quite a girly girl. Quite a girly girl means quite feminine, okay? Right? So I use that word as well. I'm quite a girly girl. So I've always been into shoes since I was a little girl. My mother used to catch me trying on her high heels in her closet. Closet means her cupboard, okay? Now, usually there we put our shoes in the closet, okay? Right at the bottom. So you kind of wipe it, wash it off, and you nicely keep your shoes. You don't keep it out, okay? Moreover, I'm a fashionista. I like this word. A fashionista is a person who likes fashion, okay? So I feel that shoes really tie the whole outfit together. I think so too, and I love shoes, okay? Unfortunately, shoes are very expensive here, but I love buying shoes as well, right? So do you like shoes? Yes, of course, right? And definitely, I love buying it because I feel that it holds your whole outfit together. That's quite true, right? So it's important that you have different colors and maybe different styles of shoes. Not only high heels, but I do have flats and heels and different variety of types of shoes. Okay? Right. So words that you could take when you're talking about shoes or fashion, fashionista, girly girl. And here, the type of shoe, high heels, flats. Okay? Could use different names and show the examiner that you understand the context of this, okay? So when they talk about shoes, you can give some examples, right? And that is where you can score more marks. Very important to do that. Next one. How often do you buy shoes? Well, often, rarely, sometimes, maybe once a month, maybe twice a week. You're kind of thinking about it. I would say every couple of months. So you could come up with an answer for this, right? And anything that you really like to talk about shoes. Well, if you're not a shoe kind of person, you don't have to. And let me just go ahead with the answer first. I would say every couple of months. Let's just put couple of months, okay? You could say every couple of months, but really it should be every couple of months. I'm trying to save up a new car. I'm trying to save up for a new car, right? So I don't like to spend too much on unnecessary stuff. With this said, I usually buy a new pair at the start of every season, okay? So season, you've got winter, you've got summer, you've got spring, you've got autumn. Every season, a new pair, okay? So for me, I would say, well, I do buy shoes quite often, maybe every 2 months, right? I really love to buy shoes, so I would definitely spend a bit on my shoes, okay? But if you want to say that you're really trying to save up and you don't want to spend money unnecessarily, you could say that as well. Or you could say, well, I'm really not a shoe person, so I don't like to spend a lot of money buying shoes. I'd rather just have a black and a brown pair where I could wear it with any outfit. Could do, right? All right, so let's have a look at the next question. Do you like to wear shoes that are comfortable or good looking? For me, I feel I really like to wear shoes which are comfortable because I need to stand for long hours, and if they're not comfortable, I can't do that. So definitely they should be comfortable. Okay? So student is different. Definitely good looking. Hopefully comfortable too. So wants a balance of both, right? I care much more about the appearance and if they complement my outfit. I think so too. Some people love to match their shoes, okay? However, I try to buy nicer brands so that more comfortable should be expected, right? That's a good thing, right? If you buy good brands, usually those shoes are more comfortable, okay? Moreover, many comfortable shoes are often unattractive, like Crocs, for example. Yeah, I would say. But I love Crocs as well, again. Okay, so it doesn't really matter for me. I really like comfortable shoes as well as probably, good looking ones. But for me, definitely they should be comfortable. Okay, because I need to walk. I need to stand. I should be able to, walk around the classrooms, right? So for me, they should be comfortable as well. So I really like to buy good brands again. I'm not here to promote brands, so I'm not going to talk about those. But if it was for the exam, I would definitely bring out a few examples and say, okay, these are the ones that I would like to usually buy. So student is a bit different, talks about good looking shoes, right? And use of words unattractive, nice, okay? Compliment my outfit, definitely nice phrase, okay? Next question. What is your favorite types of shoes? High heels, 100%. I would also agree with it. High heels, 100%. I feel that they really tie the whole outfit together. I think so too for some reason. I think when you wear heels, you get that real kind of feeling, okay? Now actually I'm wearing flat, but when you wear high heels, you just get that real, I feel good. I really like high heels, okay? But unfortunately, I can't wear high heels as I used to because after the kids, I've got problem with my legs and I can't really wear high heels as I used to before. I feel feminine. What do you mean feminine? You feel really girlish, really nice. You feel really lady type, okay? When I wear them, not to mention that they accentuate, okay? What do you mean by accentuate my legs? They feel very prominent. People look at your legs, okay? I have spent several years getting used to them so I can now strut my stuff. That means really walk confidently in heels wherever I go, okay? Yes, because not everyone can carry heels, okay? Some people just go, okay, and then you can't walk properly, okay? But really, you should be able to carry your heels really well when you walk, okay? So that's also something really important when you wear heels, okay? So I love the use of vocab here, okay? High heels, 100%, straight away giving an answer, nice. I feel that they really tie. Tie means me dana tie kaneve. Tie means it really blends well with the outfits, okay? I feel feminine. I like the use of it, feminine. When I wear them, not to mention that they accentuate. I like that word again, accentuate. Accentuate. It's really nice, that word, okay? It makes your legs prominent. It means prominent. People look at it more, right? And then so I can now strut my stuff. Strut my stuff means you can really walk confidently, okay? I can strut my stuff, walk confidently. In heels, wherever I go. Okay? So, nice use of words again. And this is what I want you to practice, okay? You can't get this overnight. No one can get good vocab and, speak the same way overnight. What happens is you should be using it and practicing it. That's why I told you at the start of every level, Practice is what you need. No matter how many things that you follow, right? You could watch these videos a million times. Would you be able to speak by doing that? No. The important point is watching the videos, picking up on the vocab, and then starting to practice. It can be on your own. You don't necessarily need someone. Or you could make you could get your friends to work around with you, a few friends who want to do the same exam as you, right? And start practicing. Really important. And that's where you can see that you would get a successful score. Okay? And comes the next question. Why do some people have too many shoes? Well, there could be various reasons. I think one, nice signposting, is that perhaps they see shoes on sale, so they buy them on a whim. On a whim means without thinking. I just buy it on a whim, okay? I think I do that sometimes, right? Buy them on a whim, even if they don't need them. Moreover, some people are really into shoes. That means they are not inside the shoe, right? But they really like shoes. They're really into shoes, so they collect them. Lastly, maybe they keep their old shoes so their collection keeps growing. Could be, right? Could be a reason as to why they have too many shoes, right? Now, I think they're the same reasons. One thing is people just buy them at a whim, right? They don't think about it. And another reason could be they want to collect more and more shoes and they want to have a collection. I saw one of these days on Facebook, right? I was just scrolling down through some videos and there pops up this video about a lady who has a really amazing open closet, right? And she's got tons of shoes. I was like, oh my God, okay? So some people actually collect it. That's their passion. And they don't throw away the old ones because they want to keep the collection growing more and more. Could be reasons, right? All right. Have you ever bought shoes online? Personally, I haven't bought shoes online because I want to make sure they fit properly and it feels comfortable. So I haven't bought shoes online. No, never. Okay? Totally opposite. Of course, although I don't prefer it, I have only bought shoes online from familiar stores like Aldo and Zara. So you don't really have lots of Aldo and Zara brands here, but you do have Aldo and Zara. If you go to the big shopping malls in Sri Lanka, you do see Aldo, Zara. You could probably see Charles and Keith. Okay, so these are top brands around the world, right? Which I know fit me well. On the other hand, I don't like to buy shoes from new stores when I'm not able to try them on first. So personally, I don't, because I want to make sure they're comfortable, they fit well, and Aldo and Zara in Sri Lanka are very expensive, okay? So I wouldn't buy them here, but definitely if I was in the UK, I would buy them from these kind of stores, right? So you could talk about it. I find lots of Sri Lankan brands like, Bata, DSI, they also have nice, good shoes, okay? So this student, completely opposite to me, says, yes, sometimes I do buy it from well-known stores, but not from the new ones. For me, no, never. I never buy shoes online. I've never bought them as well, so I haven't had that experience. Next one. Are people willing to buy expensive shoes? Well, personally, I think that depends from person to person. If they really love shoes, they would probably spend a lot of money to buy it. But if shoes wasn't really their thing, they wouldn't spend a lot of money to buy it. Right? Some people. I think people who are wealthy are more able, okay? Or are more apt. Apt means they're more likely, okay, to buy expensive brands. On the other hand, there are some people who would rather have a few quality items than a bunch of cheap quality pairs, right? So I think this type of person often tends to buy more expensive shoes also. So it depends, okay? I think this answer was quite straightforward. I don't need to explain it more because it had everything in it and it was a very precise answer. Right. Now comes colors, right? I've done a complete lesson on colors for elementary, rather the beginner level. Okay, now one. So that's like elementary. So I've done a complete lesson on different colors, right? Now, if you don't know much about colors, it would be good to go and have a look at that lesson and then come and look at this part of the lesson. Okay? What is your favorite color? I would have to say it's a tie between deep purple and golden yellow. Okay. For me, it's quite straightforward. I love purple. Okay. Actually, these colors quite complement each other. I love how mysterious purple is and yet how bright and versatile yellow is. Okay. Quite right. They go quite hand in hand. Okay. Purple and yellow. I see lots of flags and, school flags have been combined with these two colors. So, personally, I like purple, right? I don't like yellow too much. But the student says how they quite complement. Complement means it goes hand in hand, right? So, quite complement each other. So, I love how mysterious purple is and yet how bright and versatile yellow is. I love those adjectives, okay? How mysterious purple is and yet how bright and versatile yellow is. Okay? The next one. What is the color of your home? Well, since I live in a house, I don't have lots of colors, but my whole house is painted in white. So, more or less, I have white all around, but the garden has a lot of greenery there. Okay? So, since I rent my apartment, I'm not allowed to paint the walls. So, they are plain white. However, I do have a lime green backsplash. What do you mean by backsplash? The area behind the kitchen sink, okay? To go along with this, I have a dark purplish blue bedspread. Grey sofa, dark blue bean bag, and yellow and teal lanterns hanging around. Beautiful kind of imaginary that I get about this apartment, right? So he or she has a green backsplash right behind the sink where you have a little area nicely colored in green, right? And to go along with this, he or she has a dark purplish blue bedspread. Goes well with the green. Grey sofa, nice. Dark blue bean bag, again a dark color goes along with those colors, and yellow and teal lanterns hanging around, beautiful. Okay, so you can explain it. Well, I live in a house and most of my walls are rather white because I really like to see the white color around, and also because it gives more space, and I have my furniture matching the white walls, right? So I've got like a brown sofa, and the beds and the bedspreads, of course, each room I have color coded, right? And the garden, well, is obviously greenery, and I've got, certain pots in black color, but they are not in, white and other colors. So they're either black and lots of greenery around, green paint, and, the garden being done nicely, all right? Okay, so moving on. Did you use bright colors when you were a child? Okay, did you use bright colors? You could just put, did you use a bright color or did you use bright colors? You could either have, did you use a bright color, or it could be bright colors when you were a child. Absolutely. Okay. I was so into that, I convinced my father to paint each wall in my bedroom a different color. I think I did the same, okay? So I had bedrooms in different colors every year because I asked my father to keep on painting them each year in different colors, right? So I've lived in a cube of lime green, light orange, bright yellow, and a medium pink color. Now, what I want you to understand is, now when the examiner tells you, let's talk a bit about colors, how the student is using a range of different colors, okay? So you can see here lime green, light orange, bright yellow, and medium pink. Good use of colors. So looking back, it was quite disastrous. What do you mean that? Wasn't really a good taste. That's where we all look back, okay? Even when I look back, the different colors were just out of this world. But I mean, when you were a child, we always liked the bright colors, right? So nice use of bringing out the colors. And that's what we expect from a student. Not to just talk about the topic, but talk keeping in your mind what is the main idea, what is the main topic of this question, right? Next one, what color would you like to paint your bedroom? Well, I kind of have white at the moment. I wouldn't want to change the color because I really like white. It's pure and it's quite calm, right? So I do like white and I don't want to change it. If I could, I would paint my room a turquoise color. Haha, turquoise color. Considering the decorations and furniture I already have, I think this would be suitable. Moreover, I think turquoise is a cheerful color which would change the environment in my dark apartment. Nice words. Cheerful color, change the environment. Right? So personally, I said that I wouldn't want to change it because it's calm and it's soothing for the eyes, so I don't want to change it. But people could change it as well. Next one. Are there any colors you dislike? I would say cream color. I don't like it, okay? And any shades of like cream mixed, like a bit of orangey, creamish kind of colors, I don't like it, okay? Because it gives me a real, I don't know, it gives me a really horrible feeling and I don't really like it, okay? Especially highlighter orange like hunters wear, okay? I find that orange doesn't look good on anyone, especially not me, considering I'm a redhead, okay? Whenever I wear orange, I feel like a pumpkin. Eek! Okay, so nice, good answer. The student doesn't like orange because he or she feels like a pumpkin. Okay, I don't like cream or orange because I don't know, I just get the real ew feeling, right? So I don't really like it. Right, so let's have a look at the next question. Is color very important to you when you're buying something? Depends on what I buy, but depending on what I'm buying, color is critical when I'm buying clothes, accessories, furniture, or decorations. On the other hand, I don't really mind what color if I'm buying non-fashionable items like school supplies, bathroom rugs, laundry hampers, etc. Okay? So, what the student wants to say is, yes, color is important to me when I'm buying certain stuff, but not for everything. Okay? So, would be good for you to think about bringing out some examples when you get a question like this. Is color very important to you when you're buying something? I would say yes. It depends on what I'm buying as well, right? So if I was to buy clothes or saris, shoes or accessories, yes, color matters because I need to match it. But if I'm buying things like, rugs or serviettes or things like that, household items, maybe it doesn't matter so much. Okay? Same answer, similar to what the student has given. So good use of examples, clothes, accessories, furniture, decoration. On the other hand, school supplies, bathroom rugs and laundry hampers. Right? Okay, the next one. Do you prefer light or dark color? Definitely dark. In my later years, I've become more into bold colors than bright colors. That means a more dark version, right? I like the mystery of dark colors and I think they look better as decorations. I strongly believe. I like the darker colors and when I wear dark colors, it looks much more better on me than the light colors. When I wear light colors, I look fat. okay? So moreover, I prefer darker colors for my own personal fashion sense as well. As I have a beer belly, what do you mean by beer belly? A fat stomach that you get after drinking beer. I think black helps camouflage that. Camouflage means hide. Now we say army wears camouflage suits because it blends with the color of the trees. That's why they have dark green, or they would be wearing yellow, okay? So camouflage means to hide it. That's why I like dark colors as well, okay? Because when I wear dark colors, you can't see that I'm really very fat, okay? So good use of vocab like beer belly, fat stomach that you have because drinking of beer, right? Camouflage, okay? So again, nicely brought out the answer. I like to work with these answers because then I can show you the use of language and the grammar sentence patterns that students use in their answers, right? Next one, we're coming to the end, right? Nearly. We've got this one and one more patience. That's it. Letters and handwriting. Do you like to write a letter or email? I personally like to type up an email because it's easier to send. Sending it by post takes a lot of more effort. So I like to write emails because they're much shorter and they're precise. So I prefer to write emails. In today's age, I much prefer writing an email. With a mail system that cannot be trusted, a letter is just out of the question. Out of the question means? There's no way we can do it, okay? Not an option sometimes. I like it out of the question. I love that email is immediate and that you can know for sure if the recipient has viewed it or not. However, there is still a certain charm about receiving handwritten letters, okay? Or receiving a handwritten letter. I mean, I agree with that, right? You still feel good when someone sends you a letter because you can really open it and then read it, okay? So what I do is for my son's birthday or for the little one's birthdays, I post them a card so that they get that experience and I write them a little note, okay? And I post it. And then when he gets it, he's overjoyed. Oh, Ammi, I've got a card, I've got a letter, okay? And my parents also do it because you see that real charm in it, okay? But personally, I prefer to send emails just for these reasons because it's easier, less hassle, okay? And you know for sure that the recipient has got it. Next question. Do you think emails are useful? Quite. Not very quite, okay? They are major time savers. They replace meeting and phone calls. Nice. Replace. Yes, it does. They're very quick and easy way to send information and share links, which cannot easily be done over the phone. Nice way. You have to bring out the reasons why you think they're useful, okay? If you say no, they're not useful, then you have to give reasons why it's not useful, okay? Furthermore, I have more courage to say things over email that I would be too shy to say in person. Yeah, I agree, okay? Or over the phone, like having extra time to think about the exact words. Because sometimes when we talk, we get stuck, right? We go, So we really don't want to say it because sometimes you're scared it might hurt the person. You're scared you don't really have the appropriate words. But when you write or type, you can take your own time. So you can pause, think about it, rephrase it, erase it, and type it again. So that gives you time to come up with a good answer, okay? As I'm not much of a phone talker, don't like talk. Same here, I think, okay? I hate to talk over the phone. So sometimes even when people call me, I don't pick up and I don't return their calls because I don't like to talk too much, okay? So I'm not a phone talker. So I'm really grateful or I'm in love with the emails, okay? All right, so we're nearly coming to the end of the lesson, right? So we're getting there. We have one more topic though. Do you think email might one day replace handwritten letters? Definitely, absolutely, I think so too. I think it's already on the way, right? Lots of people use emails and they no longer want to use the chaotic mails or rather chaotic handwritten letters, right? For example, when I got hired at my last company, I was able to sign all documents via email instead of sending it in a letter or doing it in person. So I think many companies are following this trend now, and yes, it's on the way. Okay. So word would be trend, a nice way to signpost, for example. Okay. What sorts of letters do you think are most difficult to write? I think for me it would be apology letters, right? Because it's really hard to apologize to someone once you've done something wrong or maybe you've misplaced something. I find it really hard to come up with phrases and words appropriate to suit that person, okay? So this one, complaints for sure. As I prefer to avoid conflict, I'm sensitive to others' feelings and I find this to be the most difficult one, okay? And then he or she talks about a nice example. So, however, emails and text messages make it easier. As I may be speaking to someone with a native language different than my own, other challenge is finding just the right words. Good point. Words can be really difficult, okay? Because if we're from different cultures and we're trying to use English, and if we can't communicate properly and if they can't understand the language properly, might be problematic. But if you type up something, it's much easier. They can actually take time and read through it and try to understand even the words, right? So I had to fire an employee over an email and it was very painful for me. So kind of an experience. Complaints for sure. Okay. Now the next one is patience, which is our last topic, right? Do you have patience? Me, not at all, okay? I'm quite an impatient person and I just, snap at things so quickly. Snap means, I get really angry at little things very quickly, right? Not at all. I'm quite an impatient person. I often feel on edge. On edge means really stressed out. Totally me. Especially when I'm behind the wheel or waiting in line. Yes, that's so true for me, right? Because I see most people like you're in a queue to pay and they just come in and they barge and they just jump the line. I hate that, okay? Moreover, I like immediate gratification, so I tend to lose my patience when I cannot obtain this, right? So I'm like a person who likes a lot of immediate gratification. You say, oh, all right, thanks a lot. You like to do things very quickly and you like to get gratitude back quickly. So waiting in lines can be really stressful, okay? This is one of my biggest downfalls. Downfall means it's a bad side of your personality, okay? Right. Do most people in your country have patience? Well, I think it depends from person to person. I'm not really sure about how it is as a nation, right? But since I come from a country of people who are used to having all conveniences at their fingertips means easily accessible, right? They often become impatient when this doesn't happen. I think it is like that, but I think Sri Lankans are quite patient, okay? They wait and they wait and they wait and they wait and finally they burst, okay? So I think Sri Lankans are quite patient, but it depends from person to person, okay? Right, and you can bring out an example if you want to, right? It depends. You can bring out an example if you want to, right? But I wouldn't personally, and I would just, stop from there. Coming to the next question, have you ever lost patience? Definitely. I mean, is there anyone who hasn't lost patience? Wonderful if that was so. For me, yes, okay. While I was in a queue one day at the supermarket, so I was standing in the queue, and this lady, she came in and she tried to jump the queue, and that was it. I was standing there for 20 to 30 minutes because it was a long queue, and she was trying to jump the queue. I lost it, okay, and I did actually tell her off, okay. Tell her off means I had to, not shout, but tell her what she was doing was wrong. Similarly, here is something, right? Stormed out. Stormed out means angrily left, okay? I stormed out. So, read the answer. You've got a nice set of words here. And one last question for this lesson, okay? When do you need patience the most? That's a difficult question to answer. But what I've realized is I need a lot of patience with my kids, okay? Because you can't shout at them. They don't understand and they don't want to be shouted at every time. So, but I still feel it depends on the situation. And I think having patience in general is quite a virtue. Virtue means a good trait. You're lucky to have it, okay? I think it's a good thing to have it with your life in general because it brings you good things, right? When you have this, I imagine your life goes more at ease from step to step. Moreover, I think it's important to have it with your children. I think so too, right? Because I don't want to shout at them. I feel really bad if I do shout at them at any point, right? And they get really upset about it. So it's important, right? And when you're angry and when you're raised in a bad environment, like my mother, she was so patient. She would never get angry. Even to date, she never gets angry. And it's like, oh my God, right? So we were brought up in that and you feel so comfortable. So I feel it is really important to be patient and trying to practice that is important. All right, so I think we've had a good lesson today, right? Where we had a look at a few different questions under a few different topics, right? So today's lesson, we were focusing about travel, festivals, shoes, colors, and then a bit about letters and handwriting or handwritten letters, right? And then last but not least about patience. So remember, I wasn't looking at an entire speaking practice session, but I was focusing on especially part 1 topics and part 1 type of questions. So with that, we've come to the end of this lesson.